Namaste, one and all, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I need to be quick with this because I don't know how much storage I have left, unfortunately. So sorry about that. We are going to be quick with it as Quick Takes is back. Season 3, Episode 15, Beat is back. The only way we could properly start this off is with a thank you, Cena. Um, Lots of reservations there, but we are not going to dive into it. Let's dive into the NFL action going down on this beautiful Sunday. It is the Raiders at the Eagles to kick us off, taking on the Eagles in this one. Raiders on the road, especially at 10 a.m. kickoff against a team that's 0-3 in the last 3 games. The Super Bowl champions right now at their house. There's almost really no chance. And I'm, like I've mentioned, a realistic Raiders fan. I do not see us pulling this off. If we do, this might be the biggest upset of the weekend. So we're going to have to keep an eye on it, but I do not see it. Respectfully to my Raiders. Moving on in the division, Bills at the Patriots. I'm rocking out with the Bills on the road in this one. Why do I say that? Josh Allen, over the experience of Drake May, is one of them. Snow game possibly could be another one. And finally, I am going to trust that, while they have not been champions, I will say the heart of the champions that they do have in Buffalo, they're gonna have to go win this on the division or in the division on the road, just like the Patriots did earlier in the season, and get the revenge. So we're gonna have to see. Tackle situation wise, not sure what Bill's situation is. Unfortunately, no Will Campbell still for the Patriots, so kind of no left tackle gives us a little bit of leniency that we can kind of lean on to make our pick. Moving on, Baltimore Ravens 6-7. Baltimore Ravens taking on those Bengals, rocking out with the Ravens in this one on the road in the division. Kind of need it for the playoffs anyway, so rocking with that. No Higgins, I do believe, for Cincinnati with the concussion, so it's going to be Burrow, it's going to be Lamar. It's going to be fun for us. Moving on, Jets at Jaguars. Gotta rock out with the Jaguars in this one. Trenches, I think Jaguars have the advantage at until Travis Hunter comes back. It's going to be kind of, he's going to be missed, but Jacoby Myers' addition with a Brian Thomas Jr., who's looking healthier by the week. Travis Etienne on the outside, actually being able to run the rock. And then the defense kind of finishing up anything that's left. Beat Kansas City at home. Surely they beat the Jets at home as well. And they keep it moving. AFC South in the playoffs is looking dangerous. Moving on, talk about dangerous. Los Angeles Chargers taking on a very dangerous Kansas City Chiefs. Why do I mention that? Because I am taking them in this matchup, as well as they're down, but they're not out. That's the heart of a champion. Kind of like going back to Henry Cejudo. Shout out to Triple C on his retirement, but everybody's kind of saying that Chiefs dynasty is done with, and like this is the moment for the Chargers to kind of put a nail in the coffin. Are they going to on the road at Kansas City, Mahomes against the divisional opponent? It's a lot. These are the games, especially Herbert with a hurt hand. I think if he was 100%, I think I would have probably leaned towards the Chargers. But with a hurt hand, I will lean towards Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Um, Keeping it moving. Cardinals at Texans. Not much to be said. Brissett probably does well, but with CJ Stroud's return, Texans defense, they probably take this probably by a lot, hopefully by a lot. I think both of their tackle is for sure out. Going up against Houston Sack Station is going to be. Shout out to Michael Wilson. I did call him out last week on Sunday Slate of Quick Takes, saying he needed to step up. Has he? Yes, he has. 300-yard games back to back to back. But this one's going to be tough with a Stingley and a Kamari Lassett in the back. Jalen Petrie at nickel. It's going to be tough to put up one of those. But if he can even put up, let's say, over 50 points, 50 yards, and just helps out, I think that might be their thing. And we'll see what happens. Moving on, Browns at the Chicago Bears. We're taking on the Browns in this one. I don't know what the weather is going to be looking like. I'm not sure if Caleb Williams is used to that type of weather. The two running back system with Mungai and Swift is probably going to be relied upon, but Cleveland also does have two running back system that they can rely upon. Um, Shadua Sanders is used to the snow playing out in Boulder, so we're gonna have to see it. I feel like this is my upset alert of the week. We're gonna have to see if it actually comes through. Bears also do have defensive injuries. I mean, it's kind of been lingering throughout the year between defense linebackers, and secondary, more than the offense. So we're gonna have to see how the defense comes out in this one. Should not be easy. but it never is on an NFL Sunday, is it? Let's keep it moving. Where we at? Washington Commanders at the New York Giants. We are rocking out with the Giants at home. It is a divisional matchup. You never know who wins out, but Jackson Dart being on one side, you have Brian Burns taking on a Washington Commanders team with, yes, you have Laramie Tunsil on one side. You do still have Josh Connerly on the other, and it is Marcus Mariota now in the back end. So we're going to have to see, how they actually perform. But so far, I'm still leaning and rocking with the Giants to come out on top at home against a divisional opponent. Keep it moving. The 44-old-year grandpa returns and he takes on the Seattle Seahawks. I don't know why this is the game that he returns to. I mean, this is the next one on the docket, so it makes sense, but I don't think he should be returning this quick, at least not till next week, maybe. I understand Seattle's defense and Mike McDonald is not the same that on the road that he is at home, or at home the same that he is on the road. But Seattle Seahawks, that defense, still a different gravy. JSN, still a different gravy with no sauce in the back end. Mooney, we don't know how Mooney Ward is doing in the back end. Buckner missing from your defensive line kind of gives me Seattle a little bit more and more, and hopefully they can kind of start pushing for that playoff push as well for Seattle because Niners are still chomping at their heels with all those injuries, and the Rams still do control that division. And if the Rams slip up, I'm not sure if they play each other once again, but if they do, Seattle has a chance to still go out and get the divisional title, which I for sure will hope and expect that they do want that. Moving on, talk about the divisional crown. 9-3-1 Green Bay Packers taking on the 11-2 Denver Broncos. Where am I rocking with? You already know I'm rocking out with Green Bay Packers. It's not a divisional dislike. This one, I just feel like the Broncos have gotten lucky. Bo Nix, he just does it and has been winning, and that's all you could ask for, really. But he still, leaves me with a little bit more questions, kind of like Jordan Love. Until last week, I felt a little bit more squeamish about Jordan Love. Last week, he showed me a little bit more, and I'm trusting him a little bit more. Um, Running back wise, you already know what Josh Jacobs can do. On the other side, J.K. Dobbins not being there kind of does hinder them. R.J. Harvey, solid. Still a rookie. McLaughlin, RB3. Like, you're still going to have to rely on a running game. If Packers go up early, then you're going to have to rely on the arm of Bo Nix. I keep saying it. Yes, Sutton should be a 1B, but the other guys don't really consistently show up. Mims, he is kind of starting to put them together, but we're going to have to see if he is going to be that trustable, especially going into the playoffs. We're gonna have to see. Also, the amount of punts that the Broncos have punted this year kind of leaves you with a little bit more to be desired, even if you are Broncos fans. And then, respectfully to that defense with PS2 back and everything, Riley Moss can be had. And on the other side, you have Micah Parsons. That's where we are with that. Titans at the Niners. Similarly, on the offense, you have Kyle Shanahan running it. Purdy back on offense at the helm. Um, McCaffrey in the back, Kittle at tight end, Pearsall's back at wide receiver. Ayuk's arguably one of the worst contracts in history, and they keep it moving with none of their defensive stars. They are still keeping it forward, even without their first round rookie. They're still keeping it pushing without Michael Williams. And in this one, shout out to Cam Ward. But you got your win last week. This one, it's not going to be the same. It is the Niners coming out on top. They still are keeping an eye on that divisional race. Like I mentioned for Seattle, I think at home they should come out on top. Panthers Saints, another divisional matchup. This one, I'm rocking out with the Panthers. I do not see them slipping after the Bucks slipped themselves on Thursday. This kind of lets them control the division. They are going to play the Bucks twice in the final 3 weeks. It should be interesting to see how if Bucks can shut them out, because that might be the only way going forward that the Bucks actually might win the division and head in. If not, coming from the Tampa Bay organization, Dave Canales leads his Panthers back into the playoff. I'm not sure, but maybe for the first time since Ron Rivera era. Um, That could just be me. I don't know if Matt Rule took the Panthers to the or I can't remember off the top of my head, but that's where we are with the NFC South. Also indoors, Bryce Young, I think it helps him out a lot. Any quarterback, in a sense, if you are playing indoors, Leggett needs to step up. Who better than somebody you already have familiarity with to give them some new things that you could kind of set up going into the playoffs, and you could help out McMillan as the experienced wide receiver in the room. And then the Saints' older defense. You have pass rushers who are in their mid 30s. You have linebackers in their mid 30s, and you have Reed in the back end, who has experience, but he really does not have anybody of his caliber to really work with anymore. Respectfully to everybody in the Saints roster. Moving on, Lions, Rams, the Stafford Goff Bull. In this one, we are rocking with the Lions. Why do I say that? Because everybody was like more than likely at home taking on Rams at the Rams house. But I do see Lions having that dog in them to go in there, beat the Rams. Also, they might need that for the division. As I mentioned, for the Packers, 9-3-1, they're at 8-5. They need the win if they get down to 8-6, and the farther they slip, because if you look at it, it might be closer to getting into the divisional crown than it is into a wild card playoff. But we're gonna have to see. Um, I mean, yeah, reunion of the X's in a sense between the quarterbacks. Rams defense obviously superior in terms of even play caller as well because they're more used to Shula than Shepard out in Detroit. It is his first year there, so it should be interesting. Probably MCDC is calling the play, so it's a fun matchup where both the head coaches are calling plays, and it's a chess match. So it should be a very, very, very fun matchup. Arguably, could be the game of the season. It is indoors, so running backs can be going crazy. Uh, Sonic Knuckles do their thing. You still do have weapons in JMO and Amon Ra, even without Laporta for the rest of the year. On the other side, Rams running a three tight end set to kind of dominate the other side. So it should be intriguing to see how, you know. And last week, Muhammad had a pretty good game. Hutch has not. Maybe this week, Hutch kind of steps up, takes over. If it's a close game, he is the one that puts the final nail in the coffin, or it's the Rams defense at Rams house coming out on top. But we are still rocking with the Lions so far. Finally, Vikings at the Cowboys. We were almost done with our video the first time out. It was a good 25, 30-minute long video. Unfortunately, that one got erased due to our storage, like I mentioned in the beginning. I hope you guys stay patient with me. Sunday Night Football. Vikings at Cowboys. We're rocking out with the Vikings in this one. Why do I say that? Probably should take the Cowboys because it's the Vikings, but they have been volatile. Last week, I took the Commanders and they shut them out 31-0. That means their defense is stepping up. Again, like I mentioned, indoors, I think it might be an indoor versus outdoor factor. I'm not sure the games that JJ McCarthy has struggled if it has been outdoors. This one, it is indoors. Cowboys secondary still can be had. Even with the Deron Bland's return, I feel like, you know, he has struggled. He is not the same cornerback that he once was, or maybe he is just more closer to Jack Jones than we kind of expected out of him, which is still a very good thing. Trayvon Diggs, we already know, we already heard what happened there. Ravel kind of got benched already after that first week against the Raiders. So that secondary could be had. I'm not sure of the injuries along that defensive front. I'm going to expect the Vikings with KOC to have a game plan to come into Jerry World, come out on top. I feel like they're, you know, in a similar boat where you have a mastermind in defense in B Flow. I don't know if I want to call him a mastermind, but you have a defensive minded head coach, former head coach in Eberflus for the Dallas Cowboys. And then you have the head coaches who are also the play callers who have, you know, some experience in the NFL prior to being the head coach. So it's really parallels. You look at the wide receiver, you have Jettas and Jordan Addison, you have Pickens and Lamb on the other side. So it's really a toss up in a sense. Even the running backs are comparable. Now it gets down to quarterback. You would trust Dak Prescott more, but I don't know. Like I mentioned, 31-0 last week. I am trusting that defense a lot more than I'm trusting nine. It's going to be tough. It's really going to be tough to pick the Vikings in this one, but I am rocking out with them. We are gonna see what it is. 118, 86, and 1 so far. 14 game Sunday slate. So hopefully it's not worse than a 10-4, so we can still get down to a 128, 90 and 1 going into the final 3 weeks. But till then, we're like I mentioned in the last video that you guys probably are not gonna see. Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday next week. So we got 4 days of games. A lot of rain next week, so expect that. Expect it to get a little bit colder, but as it gets colder, the football gets funner. And as always, you already know what it is. Go like, comment, subscribe. Go give a word of mouth to your friends, to your families, to your friends, to your families, and just spread the love to your boys, especially in this season. Happy holidays to everybody. Christmas is still a ways to go, but you already know what it is. I'll see you Monday tomorrow for that Monday Night Football. Till then, peace.